Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics once again. For this review, I thought I'd give some thoughts on the first season of Superman and Lois, with the season now over. I was enjoying the show for the most part early on. It struck the right tone. The cast was good for the most part. I had some questions about the plot of the show. It strays significantly from the source material. The main concern was, is this going to be a woke mess like some of the other CW shows? And the answer is yes and no. I won't cover the whole season here, but I will talk about the final few episodes, and there will be spoilers, so if you still plan to watch the first season, you should do that first and then come back here. So, the big plot twist in this season is that Morgan Edge is a Kryptonian. In fact, he's actually Kal-El's half brother. It turns out that before she married Jor-El, Laura was wed to another Kryptonian named Zeta-Ro, and together they had a son named Tal-Ro. Tal was also sent to Earth around the same time that Clark was, and he became Morgan Edge. He has his own fortress with a hologram of his father there, just like Kal-El did. It turns out that Lara had a plan to preserve the minds of the leaders of Krypton. I think it was the leaders, by using a device called the Eradicator to store the consciousnesses. Again, I'm just going to say minds because saying consciousnesses over and over is going to get old real quick. So Tal and his father plan to transfer the minds of these Kryptonians into humans and then take over the world and turn it into a new Krypton. Now, I have to admit, this was quite a twist, and I never saw it coming. I did think, well, they're really taking liberties with the source material here, but I thought it actually worked. And if you're going to surprise the audience, then you need to do things like that to throw them off. So overall, I was okay with it. We learned that this is what happened on John Henry's Earth. The Superman on his Earth was mind controlled by another Kryptonian. That's why the Superman on that Earth turned evil and tried taking over that world. Tal-Ro threatens to kill Clark's family unless he surrenders, and Clark submits to him. Then Tal uses the Eradicator to transfer a Kryptonian into his mind, who turns out to be General Zod. Now, Captain Luthor turned out to be John Henry Irons, aka Steel, and he fought the evil Superman on his world and was determined to kill Superman on this Earth before he could do it on this world as well. But Lois and Superman managed to convince him that he was mistaken. With Superman mind controlled, Lois calls John Henry for help. And at that point, I was thinking, okay, well, here we go. In the end, the villain is going to be Superman, and the heroes who stop him are going to be Lois and John Henry. But it turned out to actually not be that bad. Instead of defeating Superman, John Henry manages to help Superman overcome the mind control, and then they team up to defeat Tal-Ro and his father. Now, I thought the season was going to end there and was fairly satisfied with it, but Tal-Ro winds up escaping and then he uses the Eradicator to transfer all the Kryptonian minds into himself, which boosts his power levels, and then he starts the whole thing over again. But now he can put Kryptonians into other people's minds himself. Again, Superman and John Henry team up to defeat him, and it makes sense because Tal-Ro is buffed up and Superman kind of needs some help. It's not unreasonable for him to need help against other Kryptonians, especially if he's fighting multiple ones. And after they defeat Tal-Ro again, they're wrapping up the episode, and John Henry says he's going to be leaving and moving on. They ask him to stay and let him know he's always welcome, but John Henry says that he's still trying to get over the death of Lois, who was his wife on his Earth, and he really can't do that if he's staying there and seeing Lois all the time, which makes sense. So I'm thinking, this actually turned out pretty well. And I was satisfied with how the season was ending. And then, as soon as I thought that, the space pod or capsule crash lands on the farm, and it turns out that it's John Henry's daughter, who had apparently died in space in one of his flashbacks. Even though I guess she's been flying around in space for how long? John Henry was on this Earth before the show starts, so it's been it seems like at least a couple of months. She's been living up in space up there all alone all this time. The upshot is that it's clear John Henry isn't leaving and he's going to be helping Superman defeat the villains for the next season at least, because we can't have a straight white male being the hero on his own. He's got to have a woman or a person of color helping him. Which brings me to my next point. Some people will say the show isn't woke. Actually, it is. Now, they're not obnoxious about it, they don't beat you over the head with it, but the show is kind of woke. Superman really can't stand on his own as a hero. He always needs Lois or John Henry to help him beat the bad guys. Lois is always giving him pep talks, much like Iris always does with Barry on The Flash. And he can't be a hero and succeed on his own merits. He always needs help from someone who is not a white male, too. Whenever he has a flashback to his childhood, you'll notice that you only see Martha Kent in the flashbacks. Jonathan Kent is always absent. It's as if he doesn't exist. So, yeah, it's there. It's subtle. They don't beat you over the head with it like some CW shows do, such as Batwoman, but it is there. It doesn't ruin the show yet, but my guess is they'll slowly start ramping up the wokeness little by little so you don't notice, and by the third season or so, it will be hard to mistake it. The show should really be called Superman and Lois and Jordan and John Henry and Lana's annoying daughter. So the bottom line is, I mean, the first season, it's not bad. It's not great either. It's good enough, I guess, for now. So let me know what you think of Superman and Lois in the comments, and please like this video before you leave. Also, please sub to the channel and hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.